In this session we're going to continue working with decimals. We're going to be looking at ordering decimals, so by the end of the lesson we should know how to compare and order decimals in different contexts, and also know that when comparing measurements the units must be the same. Okay, so we're going to go through some examples of these. So just to start off with, to get our brains working, can you copy out this table, okay, without the numbers? So you need a grid that is 5 across and 4 down. Okay, so just press pause while you quickly draw that out. Okay, now you want to fill in those boxes inside by doubling it. Okay, so for this question here we've got 25 and I want to double that number. So double of 25 is going to be 50, so I write that in the corresponding box. Okay, so in the top corner it's going to be 50. So you're going to press pause and go through all of these numbers and double them. Okay, so our answers should be the ones in the red box. So just press pause and check all your numbers. Okay, now we want to halve the numbers. So can you draw another grid? So 5 by 4. And then work out half of each of these numbers. So press pause. Then when you're finished, press play and I'll show you the answers. Okay, so the answers are in the red box. So half of 25 is 12.5. Okay, just spend a minute to think about which numbers are half or double of each other. So for example, 7 and 14. Okay, so in this original grid, I've got 7 and I've got 14, and they are both half. Well, 7 is half of 14. Okay, the next ones are 13 and 26, 8 and 16, 26 and 52, 16 and 32, 9 and 18, 12 and 24. Okay, so those are all of the numbers which are half or double of each other. So double of 12 is 24, or half of 24 is 12. Okay, so this session is on ordering decimals. We are going to go through some examples and we're going to fill in the table from biggest to smallest. Okay, so before I can do that, I need to know how to compare these numbers. Okay, I am always going to start from the left, okay, because that is my biggest values. These digits have the biggest values, so it's thousands, hundreds, tens, units. Okay, in my units column, they are all 0, so we cannot compare them. There's nothing we can tell from that. The next column, the tenths column, we have 3s and we've got a 0. So we're going from biggest to smallest. So the biggest ones are going to be the ones that start off with 3. Okay, so for now I am going to forget about this one. Okay, I'm going to go to my next column, so my hundredths column here, and I'm going to look for the biggest number because I'm going from biggest to smallest. Okay, this number here, 0.3, there is nothing afterwards, so we can put zeros at the end so that we can compare it, the same as the rest. Okay, so now all of these have 3 decimal places. Okay, so looking at the hundredths columns, I've got 4, 5, and 0 and 8. Okay, so this one here gives me the biggest number, so I'm going to put this in my table. So 0.38. Okay, so we have done that one. We can score that out. Okay, the next one, let's just get rid of that. Okay, we're going to go to the next biggest. So it was 0.3, and then we're still looking at my hundredths column. Okay, so the next biggest is the 5, so 0.35. So I can put that into my table, 0.35. The next biggest one, 0.3, I've got 4, I've got 0.30, 0.30. Okay, so it's between the ones with the 2 4s, so between these two here. So if I compare these two decimals, I've got 0.34, so both of them start off the same. And then I've got 0.345, so looking at my thousandths column, I want the biggest number, so it's going to be 0.345, because the 5 is bigger than the 2. Okay, so 0.345, so I've done this one. Okay, now I know that from a hundredths column, 4 is still bigger than the 3 and the 0. So that is going to be my next number, 0.342. Okay, now I've got 0.3, 0.0 and 0.3. So out of these two, I need to work out the next biggest one. So I've got 0.3 for both of them. Then it's 0.30, and they both have that. And then the last digit is going to be 0 and a 7. So the one with the 7 is going to be the next biggest. So 0.307. Oops. Okay, and then I've got 0.3. I can put in the zeros, it doesn't really make a difference. And then my last one is going to be 0.039. Okay, now if I look down each of these columns, so my units, they are all zeros. Okay, my units are all zeros. My tenths are all 3s down to the bottom where it's a 0. So that is going to be the smallest number, 0.039. Okay, now comparing all of the 3s, I've got 0.38 in my hundredths column, then it goes down 5, 4, 4, but looking at the next one along the thousandths, I've got 5 and 2, so the 5 is bigger than the 2. So all of these are in the correct order. Okay, we've got some people here, and we want to put them in order of age. Okay, so it's not too difficult. You do need to be careful because some are in months, others are in years. Okay, so just take a moment, press pause, and put them in order of age. So we're going to start off with Baby Jane. So you're just going to list them down. Okay, the next eldest is Myrtle at 21. Then we have Jack at 32.5 years. Then it's Leroy at 37.4 years. Alf at 57 years. And then Doris at 68 years and 3 months. If we just have a look, there's a couple here which are, there's one here, Jack, whose age is as a fraction. And then we've got Leroy, whose age is as a decimal. So if we just think about this for just a moment, 32.5 is going to be 32 years, and then also half a year. And we know that half a year is 6 months, so that's 32 years and 6 months. Okay, so now it's in the same form as Doris, Alf and Baby Jane. If we look at Leroy, we've got 37.4. Okay, this 0.4 is different to the format we've got for the other people, so we're going to convert it. So it's going to be 37 years, because it's 37 whole years, and then we've got 0.4 of a year. Okay, and then for the months, we've got 0.4 left over, and 0.4 of a year, or of 12 months, is going to give me 4.8. 8 months. So he's 37 years and almost 5 months old, and the rest are in the same format. Okay, so that's how you can convert between the fractions and putting it into the correct format. For the next one, you're going to put them in order from smallest to tallest for their height. Okay, so put them in order from smallest to tallest. Okay, so the first one is obviously going to be Baby Jane, who's 0.55 metres. Okay, and we've got a mixture of metres and centimetres. We need to know that there are 100 centimetres in a metre. So for Baby Jane, it's going to be 55 centimetres. Okay, the next one is 102 centimetres. Next one is 1.54 metres. And again, converting that into centimetres, we just multiply it by 100. So it's going to be 154 centimetres. The next tallest is going to be Leroy at 170 centimetres. Then Doris at 1.8 metres, so timesing that by 100, that is just 180 centimetres. And then we have Jack at 189 centimetres. Okay, now do the same for the last one. So put them in order from the lightest to the heaviest. Okay, these ones are all pretty much in kilograms, apart from the last one where we've got 76 kilograms and 300 grams. Okay, but the numbers are quite far away from each other, so we should be able to do it without converting. So the lightest is obviously going to be Baby Jane at 7.5 kilos, then Myrtle, then Jack, then Leroy, Doris, and Alf. Okay, we need to know these two symbols. Okay, the question says put the correct sign between each of these pairs of numbers. Okay, so we've got two symbols here. This top one means smaller than. So the number on this side here, for example, if I put 2, 2 is smaller than 5. Okay, so the side with the pointy part, so this part here, is going to be your smallest number. And then the side where it's open is going to have your biggest number. Okay, so this one, 2 is smaller than 5. I can switch the sign around and say 5 is greater than 2. 5 is bigger than 2. Okay, or I could have something else and say, for example, I don't know, 8 is bigger than 4. Okay, so those are a couple of examples. So this one here says put the correct sign between each of these pairs of numbers. Okay, so just press pause and have a think about that. Okay, so for the first one, we've got 6.05 and 6.046. Okay, so we need to think which one is bigger, which one is smaller. So again, comparing each of the columns, so comparing my units, they're both the same. Comparing my tenths, they're both the same at 0. Then comparing my hundredths, I've got 5 and I've got 4. So the one with the 4 is going to be smaller than the one with the 5. So 6.05 is greater than 6.046. And then the next one, we've got 0.06 and 0.065. Okay, these two is a little bit more tricky because they both start off 0.06. Okay, The second number has a 5 at the end. So if I was to put in a 0 here, now we can see maybe a little bit better which one is bigger. Because when we go on to compare the thousandths column, the 5 is bigger than the 0. Okay, so 0.06 is smaller than 0.065. Okay, you're going to copy the table below and then write the following numbers in the table, placing each digit in the appropriate column. Okay, so this is just practicing putting the decimals into that table. So press pause while you do that. Okay, now it says use your answers to part A to write the numbers in order from smallest to largest. Okay, and then question 2, you're writing each set of numbers in order from smallest to largest. You can do the table if you need to, but it's not essential. Okay, so if it does help you, then copy it out again or just continue underneath. Otherwise you can just write it just on its own. Okay, and question 3 says put these amounts of money in order. So you can see that part A and B, they both have amounts in pounds and pence. Okay, so you've got 56 pence, you've got £1.25, then you've got 130 pence. So you're going to have to convert them all to the same thing. Okay, so you either convert them all to pounds or you convert them all to pence, sorry. Okay, but they have to be the same units. Again, the answers are going to be at the end of the PowerPoint slide. So just press pause to answer those questions. Okay, so these next questions, put the times in order. So again, you need to change these times into hours or minutes. Okay, I would convert them all to minutes, so I will go through some of them. So 1 hour, so we know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay, so here I'll have 60 minutes plus 10 minutes, so that gives me 70 minutes. Next one, 25 minutes is fine. 1.25 hours. Okay, so that's the same as 1¼ hours. Okay, so that's going to be 60 minutes. And then I'm adding quarter of an hour, which is 15 minutes. So that gives me 75 minutes. And then the last one, 0.5 hours, is half an hour, which is 30 minutes. Okay, so now that they are all in minutes, you can put them into order quite easily. Okay, so press pause. You're going to do the same thing for question 5 and 6, so you need to convert them to meters or centimetres. So just a reminder, there's 100 centimetres in 1 metre. Okay, and then kilos and grams, there's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Okay, next question. It says put the correct sign, so greater than or less than, between each of these pairs of numbers. So remember, the one with the open end is bigger than the side with the closed end. Okay, so the first one is greater than, and this one is less than. So press pause and answer these questions. Okay, here are the answers to questions 1 to 8. So you can press pause and mark your work. Okay, just to finish off, you need to decide which sign to use, so less than or greater than, in between these numbers, so 3.4 and 3.45. You don't need to pause it, I'm just going to give you a few seconds to decide which sign you need to use. Okay, and 3.4 is less than 3.45. The next one, 0.72 and 0.7. Okay, and 0.72 is greater than 0.7, and then 0.005 and 0.045. Okay, 0.005 is less than 0.045. Okay, convert these and put the measurements in order from smallest to biggest. Again, you don't need to pause, and I'll give you about 30 seconds to put them in order from smallest to biggest. Okay, so the first one is 300 grams, the next one is 0.33 kilos, and then the last one is 3 kilos. Okay, if we just have a quick look, 0.33 kilos, we need to times that by 1,000. Okay, so it's 0.33 times 1,000, so that's going to give me, so my 3 goes 1, 2, 3 places, okay, to the left, so that's going to be 3, 3, 0. Okay, so that's 330 grams. And then 3 kilograms is just 3 times by 1,000, so that's 3,000 grams. Okay, the next one, 52 centimetres, 5 metres and 2.97 metres. So don't forget to change them all into either centimetres or metres. Okay, so we've got 52 centimetres, then we've got 2.97 metres, and then we've got 5 metres. So very quickly, the 2.97 metres, to convert that into centimetres, we just times it by 100. So that gives me 297 centimetres. And then 5 metres is the same as 500 centimetres. Okay, here is the homework. It's just following on from what we've done today. Okay, so this lesson we should now know how to compare and order decimals in different contexts, and then know that when comparing measurements the units must be the same. So if they're centimetres and metres, they all need to be just one unit, so they all need to be converted to centimetres. Okay, so thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.